every year, about this time, just the week after Pentecost Sunday, the church slips into the liturgical calendar this thing we call Trinity Sunday. Opportunity to talk about the Trinity, I guess, because we've had the birth of Christ, we've had the death and resurrection of Christ, and then we've got the coming of the Holy Spirit at Pentecost, and it's kind of like time to talk about the fact that there's three persons in the Godhead. Now, I'm kind of glad they do that, because if they didn't, I got to be honest with you, I don't think I'd be talking about it. It's a topic that I'd probably just choose to avoid, partly because it's so hard to make sense of and to understand. But history tells us that whenever the church has neglected the idea of Trinity and tried to simplify notions of the Godhead into ways that are more easily, accommodated to our sensibilities or the way we normally see things, the church suffers, our theology suffers, our understanding of what God's up to suffers quite badly. So Trinity, even though we find it difficult, is a really important area to be aware of. And so we're going to talk about it this Sunday at Mustard Seed. And there is a passage we're going to look at, and it is it's in John's Gospel, chapter 16, verses 12 to 15. So it's just those three verses. John chapter 16, verses 12 to 15. And it's that passage given to us in the lectionary because it talks about, it's Jesus talking about sending his Holy Spirit to come, and the Spirit will reveal things about, well, reveal things in the future. And the passage itself does actually mention all three persons of the Trinity, the Holy Spirit, Jesus who's there speaking, and a reference to God the Father as well. So we're going to look at what it is that this notion of Trinity offers to us, why it's important to hold on to, why can't we just do away with two of them and call Jesus God's Son but he's not God, or call the Holy Spirit the breath of God but it's not God. But it doesn't work when we do that, because they each have this unique place and authority that is important to retain if we're going to do justice to what the scriptures tell us is the true nature of God. So it's a bit frustrating sometimes because, it does my head in. But imagine a God that you could explain fully. That would be no God at all. That would just be you. And that wouldn't be a great thing. So we're going to talk about that next Sunday. Trinity Sunday happens every year. I try to be a good minister and talk about the Trinity once a year. You won't hear it any other time really, because it's a theological construct, and it's a clumsy one. As I said, I think last year, if you were coming up with a theological idea to explain God, you'd never come up with the Trinity. It's ridiculous, but it's the only way to account for the data that we have, and so we're stuck with it. Okay, let's look forward to talking about that together. We've got our annual congregation meeting in a week and a bit away on the 19th of June. Stay and have soup and a bread roll after our communion service. We'll get a presentation of reports, there'll be election of elders, and a good time will be had by all, I trust. God bless. Stay faithful.